Hey guys, welcome to this thrift flip video. In this video, we're thrift flipping one thing, and it's this white top that I got when I was probably 13. So firstly, I'm unpicking the top, and honestly, if you saw my thumbnail, you know what we're kind of like make
those milkmaid ruffle top things?
We're chilling. So I separated the top ruffly bit. You want a 30 by 7 inch fabric, except my fabric isn't long enough, so what I'm gonna do is do 4 panels of 15 by 7 inches. These are the separated pieces. When I separated out the shirt, this is like the 2 layers of the shirt. I tried my best to try and divide those layers into 4 rectangles, and these rectangles are all gonna be used for like the ruffle. I don't even know what I'm saying. This is how it looked like at the end. So from that top, I got 4 rectangle pieces. This is how much thread we have left. What I'm doing now is I'm measuring a piece of elastic, and I measured 11 inches. It just depends on kind of like the width of how long you want your ruffle to be. You're gonna take the elastic and pin it to the top of the fabric. Then just straight stitching on the elastic. Make sure to kind of stretch your elastic band so that it's like evenly spread out across the fabric. And that is going to make the ruffle effect. Basically, after straight stitching, it basically looks like this. So when you stretch it out, that looks like, but together it looks roughly. And I'm pointing to the bottom because I'm also going to do the same to the bottom. I'm going to take the same length of an elastic and basically straight stitch that to the bottom. And this is basically what it looks like. You can see the little like join that I did. Some chalk there and chalk there. The next thing we do is we're gonna pin this all down. These are the straps, and that's where I marked it to be. Ow, 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 ow. And I attached them to the top, so it's kind of like I'm attaching them like upside down, just so when I flip it over, the straps kind of come out of the ruffle. And now I'm sewing it together with a straight stitch. I'm sewing underneath the elastic so that the elastic isn't going to be seen once the ruffle is finished. The next thing I'm going to be working on is the back piece. So the back piece, I decided it was going to be consisted of those, I don't even know what to call them, but those like, you know, I'll just insert an image or something. The top ruffly bit, and I divided it into 3. Guys, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be stitching these 2 with an overlocker. Keep slipping off the table, but never use a straight stitch, but you can try using a zigzag stitch. At this point, I needed more fabric, so I actually took a white pair of shorts that I literally do not use ever. This was going to be used for the bottom of the ruffle and the sides of the top. With everything that I thrift flip, I always cut it up first into flat pieces of fabric that I can work with. So that's what I'm doing with the shorts right now. I'm just cutting it up into the 4 pieces that shorts are kind of made out of. So the 2 fronts and the 2 backs. I roughly drew some rectangles, and I'm going to be telling you guys the measurements right now. Just note that it's like the width of this and the width of 2 of those. I think what we do is we have all of this stuff, and then we flip it like this, pin the fabric like this inside, and you have this on top. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna pin it all the way across here so that when you flip it inside out, so you have what I had pinned before. So I pinned this bit, if you remember, and that was the bit that was connected to the bottom piece over here, just inside. But instead of it being pinned, I cut off the elastic bit because I use an overlocker to kind of sew it off. If you don't own an overlocker, there are always other alternatives such as zigzag stitches or something like that. The reason why I use an overlocker for myself though was just so when you have the fabric it can stretch a bit. I decided to add these kind of strap holders so that you can make adjustable straps. Also, I actually got these from an old singlet of mine. It's totally optional. I just wanted to make my straps adjustable. You thread it through the circle thing, which is going to be attached to the other side of my back piece. There we go. And then what we're aiming to do is to sew this. So here's the top layer and then the bottom layer just loops down, and I just sewed that with the sewing machine. This is the front.
This is the back.
As you can see, the back
Does not completely fit the front.
And so we need a piece of fabric to go in between to connect it both. I'm going to connect these two things together. And this is so that when I flip it inside out, the hemming at the bottom is clean. Connect the bottom of this one. And flip it this way. You can see that this is now like a stable like hemmed piece. Overlock this, overlock these. This is the top, and I apologize that I couldn't show you what happened because I wasn't able to film where I had the overlock because it was at school. I took care of the back. I got these side pieces together. So as you can see, I sewed the top together and I sewed the bottom. What I did was I also sewed the bottom of this. When I finished, these ends were like separated here to connect them. So I connected this here. See that there, and I connected this. Folded it inwards and pinned it like that just so that it was less awkward and it looked more natural. I have no more plain white thread left, so this is the best I got for the hand sewing. And you know how there are two like layers of like ruffle, and my aim is to avoid sewing onto the first layer, so I'm basically only trying to attach the bottom layer. See how I thread it all the way through with the needle right there? I'm just gonna get rid of that top piece of fabric and just keep sewing.
Oh my gosh, I'm struggling hand sewing this.
Okay, I got it. That's kind of my method to this. Also, you guys probably won't have to do this, but I'm just a perfectionist. See how it pulled through?
It's not how it's supposed to be, so I'm gonna undo it.
This is the area where I folded it over. This is what it looks like on the other side, and it basically looks seamless. We are on to the final step, and that is the last part of the strap, in case you guys need like a reference. So these are the two pieces here. This is where I roughly want the straps to go. I'm going to be sewing this on for here. This loop thing, that's gonna be how it connects. And we're basically just gonna sew it at the top. These two loose ends we're going to attach to the marks that I made. So I don't know, I just kind of like stitched it together. This is what it looks like. This is like a side view. So you can see the angle kind of thing that I tried to achieve there. And this is the back. And I feel like I'm so glad that I thrift flipped that white shirt. I'm gonna wear it for y'all.